lovely woman here in my studios. She's an attorney, a beautiful one at that. My guest this morning is Solis Aoumi. She is a US-based attorney, and for a Ghanaian entrepreneur, if you want to go into the US market, this is the lady you should look for. Good morning, Solis. How are you? No parade. When did you set it up? What encouraged you setting it up? And if you compare notes, Ghana, the US.
It's a lot that went into it. Initially, I didn't think I was going to come to a place where I had my own law firm. But I would say maybe about 5 years ago, I had a nudge to actually set it up.
Okay.
And then as I set it up, I was wondering, like, what do I really want to give the people? I want the firm to not only, service people, but impart to people. And so, I mean, there are a lot of different practice areas. You have immigration, you have criminal, you have family law. But businesses just have a special place in my heart. I feel like businesses are the owner's babies, It's the same way you nurture it, you grow it. And I really just like to be a part of people's journey to establishment. And so I figured, okay, we're going to establish the firm. We're going to cater to businesses, all types of businesses.
Okay.
But most importantly, all types of businesses. But most importantly, we want to help people secure their trademarks. I realize that a lot of people don't understand anything about intellectual property. So that's where I'm using the firm to kind of educate people on how to protect their brands.
When people come to you on a regular, especially on their brands, on intellectual property, on their businesses in general, what are the concerns they come to you with?
Many. The interesting thing is, as an attorney, when people come to you, they think they know what they're coming to you for. But part of your job is to actually assess what they tell you and then say, I know you came to me for this specific service, but what you really need is ABC, and then they realize, wow, like, I didn't think about it that way, but that's okay. That's why you're there. You're there to be an advocate for them. And so most of the time, people come with the different types of needs, contracting needs. They want to start a business, but they don't know how to start, right? And so we kind of stay in as the bridge to kind of bridge the gap between what they don't know and what they should be doing to establish themselves correctly.
I am a Ghanaian.
Yes.
I do not live in the US, but I want to enter that market.
Yes.
What do I do?
Well, firstly, that is an awesome thing to think about because the US is one of the world's largest markets. And if you're an entrepreneur or business owner, you're not thinking about getting to the US market, you're losing out on a lot of opportunities and you're losing out on a lot of money. Now, I think the myth is that people think, I'm Ghanaian, I live in Ghana, I've never been to the US, so I can't enter the market. That is a lie. You can actually go into the US market, establish a business without ever having set foot in the US. And you need someone like me that can be a legal liaison or a legal partner to help you do that. It starts with thinking about how you want to establish yourself. A lot of people don't know what it takes to be established in the US. We are talking about legal structures, right? A lot of people have heard the term LLC. They've heard that a lot, like businesses call themselves ABC LLC or incorporated. That's a legal business structure in the US. That's what you have to decide what you're going to be. Every entity has its benefits and disadvantages. The next thing you want to think about is EINs. So I know a lot of people have heard about social security numbers, and those are like individual kind of identifiers. But as a business, you require an EIN, which is an employer identification number, which mirrors what a social security number would be, but for businesses. That is what will enable you to get like a bank account, taxes, to file taxes. But most importantly, registering the business enables you to partner with other US businesses so that you can really scale up.
Must I register my business in the US, or I can have an existing business in Ghana and create a sister one there, or I can just come to the US or log online anywhere or get an attorney and say, I want an employer identification number?
There is no requirement. You can have an already established business in Ghana and then establish a business in the US. The prerequisite, though, is if you do want to do business in the US, you have to be legally established in the US. So you can get around that. So you can't have an established business in Ghana and then say, oh, I just want to do business in the US. No, you have to have a legal identity in the US in order to do business in the US.
many people think that, okay, if I want to have that identity in the US, it will cost me a lot of bucks.
Yes. But that's not necessarily true. I think that every situation, every matter is different. But even with cost, what I like to say is think about it as an investment. It costs probably more to do it and do it wrong than to get it right the first time. For instance, contracting. A lot of people rather go on the internet and find a template of a contract, which is a no-no, by the way. But they'll rather do that than see an attorney because they're scared that it would cost too much. But the truth is, if you go to an attorney and they help you draft the contract, because your business, believe it or not, is very unique, right? And so you want a contract that is drafted to tailor to your business. So if you just pick up anybody's, template, they did it according to their business, but you are just following and copying what they are doing. If you come to me and I draft a contract for you, whatever amount you pay at that time, you're probably going to use that contract for the next 5 years. Now, the firm encourages annual review of that contract, but that costs way less than getting it wrong, right? If something happens later on and you have to go to court, your contract is what the judge will look at first.
What are some of the mistakes a lot of Africans make when they're trying to set up a business or when they have already established businesses in the U.S.?
Common mistakes are establishing under the wrong entity type. So I mentioned LLCs and incorporations earlier. Some people don't understand what that means, so they just go and they pick anything. Another thing is contracting, right? I mentioned that earlier. They just pick up any template and then they do what they think is right. Or I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that can just do it for me for free. Common mistake. Another thing, going back to intellectual property, is nobody is talking about that, especially African entrepreneurs. Nobody's talking about that. About 20 years, maybe 15, 20 years ago, we used to be called African booty scratchers. And now, at that time, nobody wanted to be associated with being from any part of Africa. Everybody, I think I remember some people would lie and say they were from Jamaica. I get it. But now, Africa
Everybody
is
wants
a
a
trend.
passport.
Everybody wants a piece of the pie. So if you have an established business and you are not tapping into that market, you are not selling yourself, you're losing out on a lot, right? And so IP, we've had issues with big brands in the US stealing people's intellectual property because they're little people. But if you do it right and you protect yourself, your branding, your logos, your slogans, your jingles, you can make money off of that.
How does No Parade come in? How do you help clients like these?
From start to finish. So if you have no idea where to start, we are there to help you with the beginning. If you're already an established business and you need us to come in the middle somewhere, we are there for you as well. Most of the time, for starting entrepreneurs, we hold their hand through the registration process, through contracting, negotiations if they want to partner with other people. And then for established businesses, we really focus on the intellectual property piece of it. So making sure that their trademarks are done, whether they have copyrights that they need to focus on.
How do you approach cross-border contracts, for instance, so that the client is protected, the business is protected, then they are not found on the side of the law of that country?
Right. So this is where me being Ghanaian comes in handy because I get it, I have grown up in the US, but I also grew up in Ghana, and I understand how the Ghanaian mentality, I think I was talking to someone, outside about the Ghanaian mentality. I understand how that works, but I also understand the laws of the United States. And so being that perfect sweet middle, that I can be able to bridge the gap between the African mindset, the African way of doing business, and I have law colleagues here that No Parade actually works with, and so either way you're protected. We understand the differences between both countries, and we can be able to make that evident in your contract drafting.
How do you help people, for instance, who have no idea about setting a business, but they have the funds? They think that, well, I think I can do well in the US. I may not have a business in Ghana, but I want to do business in the US. And I don't even have a passport.
Well, The consultation stage is very important. Like I said, every business is unique. We don't treat any business the same. And so during the consultation phase where you speak with an attorney at NOPARE, we really talk to you to understand your business, your nature of business, what your goals are, right? Like your 5-year term goals, your 10-year goals, you know, your lifelong goals. And then from there, we are able to advise properly on where to start. We've had clients come to the firm, started out as an LLC. They got to a place where they became very credible. They've built business credit, and they wanted to change their legal entity into an incorporation. The thing is, like I said earlier, each legal structure means something different. And so they have its advantages and disadvantages. Once they scale to a certain level to become incorporated, they are able to get bigger loans. They're able to partner with bigger business partners in the US. So it really just depends on your business, your goals, your ideas, and where you want to go with it.
So I don't need a green card to set up a business. I don't need a permanent residence. Nothing?
Not at all. US is one of the few countries that allows foreigners to own their businesses outright. Now, though you don't need immigration status to actually own a business in the US, you are going to need immigration status to operate if you have like a physical store or you have to be there for day-to-day, you know, operations. So where we come in is, even though we are not an immigration firm, number one, we do have credible immigration firms that we can refer you to help you. But what we do helps support your immigration petition. And so doing it right and doing it well the first time can support your immigration visa petitions.
Okay, and then you're assured that your immigration status will be certified once you go through that process?
Yes, but again, a lawyer's favorite answer to everything is it depends. It depends, because there's no one size fits all.
Yes, it depends.
And so I can sit here and say, well, once we are able to provide you with all of the paperwork that you need, once you go to the embassy, it will be given or granted. They have to review it and make sure that whatever you're providing actually meets the requirements.
Beyond protection, are there opportunities for businesses who want to either set up or want to establish presence in the U.S.? And which opportunities are these?
Many opportunities. Like I said, especially at a time as this, where everybody wants to come to Ghana, everyone wants to visit some part of Africa, everybody wants to wear Africa, eat Africa. If you're not doing or thinking about going into the U.S. market, you're missing out on a lot, right? I had a client once that actually is based in Ghana. They're established in Ghana. And because they went through us to establish themselves in the US, now they're able to partner with big retailers in the US. Partner, get together, do certain collaborations that you wouldn't really think of, and it's mutually beneficial. And so that's kind of where we want to get our entrepreneurs and our business owners going in that direction.
Do you advise business owners on the type of business they should do?
As an attorney, not necessarily. My job is to help guide what you want to do. And so, like I said, a business owner could come to the firm and say, well, I think I want to sell shoes. Well, as an attorney, I can lay out the opportunities legally of how you can be successful with that. But I can't tell you what you should do with your shoe business.
For a lot of businesses who are watching us this morning, for startups, for those who want to expand, how do they get in touch with you? What should they come to you with?
Well, come to me with a lot of excitement, because my energy is very, very contagious. But you can reach me on www.nopare.com, and that's NOPAREI.com. We have an Instagram page, and the handle is Nopare. You can also email me at info@nopare.com, and also phone me. So call me, WhatsApp me. The number is 202-670-0877. Lots of numbers.
I know. But what should be the first thing that they should come to you with?
A business plan.
Or, okay.
a business plan. Tell me what you want to do. Tell me what the dream you have for that business, how you want it to grow, and No Pirate will be there to hold your hand throughout the way.
It's been great having you.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
And we hope that a lot of businesses listening will know that it's not rocket science to have a business in the U.S.
That's
and
right.
Solis has done a wonderful job at helping ease all our worries. I need to get a green card.
Yeah.
I need to get a lot of money. I need to do that. Well, there's somebody who can help you. And that's a lady right here. Thank you very much for coming. That's Solis Awumi. She's a U.S.-based attorney with No Pirate Law Group. My name is Lily Mohammed. I am back after this breather.